22 and I already have 6 cameras. I've become a little obsessed with capturing pictures and videos. I mean, clearly, I've just realized I have quite a broad collection of cameras at this point, which I'm really happy about. I don't need any other one right now, but I might get more in the future because it's hard to stop myself. I'm trying to think of the time when I started, quote unquote, being like this or like being interested in taking pictures and videos, but I think honestly, ever since I can remember, I always loved photography. I even used to go to this photography after school activity or like extracurricular. I hate this word. I actually was like learning how to take pictures. I wasn't there for a long time. I think maybe like a year or two, and I was a kid. I might have been like 12 or 13. So I don't think I really like learned a lot, or I don't remember it, but I remember we used to like go outside, like the group of kids with our teacher, and then we would take some pictures, go back, look at it. I think even like do something with it in Photoshop and then print some to like take home and show to my parents. And it was fun. But I think back then I didn't even have my own camera. Or I think I did have one, the one I'm gonna show you in a second, but it was a small one and I just didn't feel like it was the proper camera to take to that activity. So I was thinking I could show you my collection and tell something about each camera. I have 2 digital ones, 2 analog ones, one Polaroid. I don't know what kind of category that falls under. Maybe Polaroid is a category itself. I think like instant cameras, maybe. So that one. And the last one is a video camera, actually, that I kind of acquired recently. I'm gonna tell you the whole story about that when I show you the camera. So let's dive into this. I'm so excited. My first ever baby was this small digital camera. It's so small. It's like a pocket size. I think these are very, very popular right now. I know that like people are trying to get them off of Facebook or eBay, like secondhand usually. And I got this camera, I want to say when I was like 12. I remember wanting a camera so bad. Like we had one like family camera that was slightly bigger. My dad used to take pictures of us like during birthdays and when we would go on like a vacation or something. And I wanted one so bad, like for myself. And then I got this one and I was so excited. I remember I was unpacking like the case first because I got it for Christmas. I think I grabbed like the gift of the camera and my mom's like, no, 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 you have to open this one first. So I opened this one first and I was like, what is this? And then I got the camera and I was really excited. So it is Sony cybershot DSC-WX60. I am obsessed with this camera. Sad thing is that it's broken right now. Like the thing that you take the picture with just fell out of nowhere. And also, I think the SD card reader might be broken as well because it's not reading my card. When I tried to take a picture before this thing fell out, it said that it was full, which is not true. And it's very sad because I've been trying to fix it, but they're saying that they don't have like the extra pieces. I don't know what they're called. Like they don't make them anymore. So the only, I think, solution for it would be to find another camera like this. And then they said that they would have to change like this whole part of it or something, the whole frame. But it's so sad because I just came back from Erasmus and I took all of the pictures on this camera and they were so freaking good. Every time I took pictures with it, like people were like, oh, can you send them to me? Like, can you give them to me? Because they were honestly really, really nice. I have like 2 situations that are perfect for this camera to take pictures. First one is honestly wherever you are with less lighting and then you use the flash, which is amazing, and then the pictures are so bright and focused and I really love them. Like I use them at parties a ton. They really take beautiful pictures. And the second situation is like being outside, like sunny, and obviously not using the flash. And then it just has this like beautiful vintagey vibe, but great quality. And the colors are just pretty. I don't know how to explain this. This was my first baby. I'm not excited about it being broken. I think I might have to steal a camera like this for my sister because she also has like a digital camera, a small one like this, but she doesn't use it ever because I will miss taking pictures with this. The second camera is also a digital camera. It's bigger. We have a word for this in Czech. We basically call it like a mirror camera. I mean, because it has like the mirror inside here. But in English, I'm not sure what it's called. And it is Canon EOS 1100D. And I have a lens for it, which is a Canon EFS 18 to 55 millimeters. I got this camera as a gift, I think when I was 16. At that point, I wanted a bigger camera like this because I remember in high school, we used to go on a lot of like school trips basically, and I was quote unquote like the designated photographer. I mean, I am that until today. I just felt weird, I think, taking a picture with that camera. Honestly, it wasn't at all. I think it was because back then that kind of camera wasn't trendy or whatever. Like, now I feel more comfortable with like a smaller camera because it's like smaller and people aren't that intimidated when I take pictures, like I said, for example, during parties. But back then, I felt like it was better if I had like a big camera like this because then people would be like they would acknowledge me as like the photographer, and it's not like I'm just like sneaking pictures of them to have for myself or something, but to actually take pictures during those trips so I could like send it to them and we would have it documented. But I have to say, nowadays, I really don't use it a lot. I use it occasionally if we do a designated photo shoot with my friends or we want to do some headshots, but I really do not use it a lot. Also because it's big and heavy, so I don't travel with it because since I have an iPhone, I feel like the pictures are of great quality and you have it directly on your phone and it's more practical and convenient. Now, I have another baby that I really wanted ever since I was in secondary school. I remember it vividly. And it is an Instax Mini 11. It's purple. I've wanted an Instax for a long time before I actually got it. I don't remember how it came about, like how I got the idea, if someone around me had it or something, probably that. And I remember back then it was so cheap. I mean, maybe compared to now because of inflation and everything. And I remember that I like saved up all of my money for this and I was ready to go and buy it, but I was still a child and I didn't even have a bank account. So I went to my dad and I was like, "Hey dad, I found this camera and I would really like to buy it. Like, here's the money." But he called some of his friends and he asked a guy who was working with cameras and he asked, like, is it a smart thing to buy? Like, is it fine? And then the guy kind of discouraged us because he said that the papers, like quote unquote the filling that you put into the camera is expensive and that they don't sell it a lot in the Czech Republic, and that apparently, like, if you take the pictures 10 years or 20 years from now, they're gonna turn black, which I think might be either a myth or I'm gonna see and have all the pictures like in black or something. I don't know, but I've never ever heard anyone say that this would happen. So I didn't buy it back then because my dad said it would be stupid. And so I didn't buy it. And then I think a couple of years later, when I finally had like my bank account and everything, I think I bought it and I had the Mini 9 first, and now maybe like 2 or 3 years ago I updated it to the 11 one because it had the automatic light setting, because the Model 9 you had to like adjust it by yourself and it was a longer process, which I wouldn't necessarily mind that much, but it was just that you had like a little light. You had, I think, 4 options for the light, like outside or portrait or something, and you would just like turn the lens based on where the light was like flickering. But the thing is, if you like pointed it somewhere, it would say something and then you would move it a little bit and it would change. So I was always so stressed out that like I'm gonna mess it up because of the settings and everything, and this one has it like automatically, so that's why I really wanted it. And then maybe the quality is better, honestly, I can't tell. It also has a mirror, like selfie mirror, yeah, but also I don't really use it that much anymore because it's big and heavy as well, and the papers are expensive. I don't know, I think I just switched it for the digital one and the analog ones, but I'm still gonna keep it because I love it. I do use it for one activity specifically every year, and that's when I write myself a letter every August. Then I also like take a picture of myself with the letter and then put it in the envelope so I can kind of see how I progress or change or something. I don't know, it's just like a cute little thing to do. Now for the analog category. I think this was also because I had some friends around me who had an analog camera. I was like, I love it, I have to have it, I don't have one yet. And first I asked around like my grandparents and my parents if they had one, and surprisingly they didn't. I know a lot of like older people still have them, but I think my parents didn't used to use it, or where they were really really young and then they got rid of it because the digital cameras came and everyone was excited and it was the thing to like buy and use, so they got rid of it. So I had to buy one. I bought one secondhand in Spain and I found my camera that is called Autoboy 3 quartz date. I want to recommend a website that's called Lomography, where if you find like any camera and you want to see what kind of pictures it takes, you just type in like the name of the camera and Lomography, and then this website like shows you the pictures that people uploaded and took with that particular camera. So that's how I chose this one. I think I bought it for 90 euros, and I'm really, really happy with it, especially because recently, for the first time, I used a black and white film, and let me tell you, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And because I discovered that, I had to buy another film camera, which was also secondhand, and it was extremely cheap because it does have a this broken part where you put the batteries in. It just doesn't like stay closed, so I have to tape it together, which I still have to put a stronger tape there. And it is Practica Zoom 900 AF. I think it cost like 25 to 30 euros, and I bought this one through like a Czech camera store. I would say the most famous one, maybe Fotoškoda, because I saw this one there again on their website, but like 3 times more expensive, because I really think it was because it's quote unquote damaged. So it was super cheap, but I can still like take pictures with it and everything, and it's fine. And like I said, I discovered on my first film camera that the black and white pictures are beautiful, so then I wanted to have another one that I could use a colored film and then just, have both available. And based on what kind of pictures I want to take, I would have that camera with that film. So now I have two. I love doing it. It's kind of an expensive hobby, but it's just, I don't know, it has something special because you don't know what the pictures are gonna turn out like, and it has this kind of mistake connected to it, because nowadays where everything is instant and available, it's nice to have something that you have to wait for, and it's always like a surprise. I even forget what kind of pictures I take, especially now since I have two cameras. I develop the films later because I try not to take too many pictures with it. Although on Erasmus I took quite a lot. And so then it takes longer time to fill them up, because I always use the 36 photo films, because I feel like the price for it is just so much better, because to develop it, I think it costs the same amount of money, at least where I develop the pictures. If you develop how many are in the other one? 24, I think, film, or 36 picture film. And now for my last camera, my one and only video camera. I remember that I've wanted this camera for some time. Not a really long time, but I remember maybe like last year I thought about it and I asked my dad if we had some and if I could use it. But I think back then I wanted like the tape camera, like the physical tape that you put in. And I think we had that one, but the battery was dead. And I think that would be even more like expensive hobby. And so this year, my friend that I met on Erasmus, like she had this one, like an older model, but she had this and she took all the videos on Erasmus, and I was just obsessed. I really loved it. So I asked my dad again. He was like, yeah, we have two digital ones. You can choose, like one is older, one is newer. It is Canon Legria HFS20. It's kind of big and heavy, but it's very like sturdy and stable and beautiful. I love taking videos with this because again, it's like more fun than if you just take out your phone and film your friends. Like if you have this, since it's not very common, it's really cool and people are always interested, and I already filmed a good amount of videos on this and I just really love it. Recently I also bought, a couple of weeks ago actually, I bought a new battery because I felt like the older one, like it was working luckily, but it would drain really fast, so I bought a second one and it doesn't last that long either, so maybe it's the way it's supposed to be. But now at least I have two, so like if I need to switch it out, I have one to change. And maybe also a recommendation for this, I was looking for the battery in Belgium because I brought the camera there, and there I realized that the battery wasn't great, so I was going around like the camera shops and I went to this one where they actually had it, and this guy was like, so I can sell it to you, but it's gonna be like 70 euros. I was like, that much? I did not expect that. And he was like, yeah, but it's even like the cheaper one. It's not the original one. I was like, how much is the original one? And he was like 150 or something. I was like, oh my God, I need to go think about it. So I didn't buy it. And then I came here back to Prague for the summer and I was looking at the internet and I found one. I don't think it's the original one, it's not the same one, but they don't even make that one anymore. And this is like a substitute for that. And it works like perfectly fine. And I want to say it was like 15 euros. And I was like, thank God I didn't buy it there, and like took my time and found another one here because that's a big difference. I use this camera randomly, to be honest. I don't have any like specific use for it. Just when I feel like it, I grab it with me. And then usually if you watch my videos, you know that I sometimes like mix it in. If I film a vlog, then I have some clips on my phone, some on this camera. I just feel like it has more personality and I really like the way it looks, and honestly the way it makes me feel. I feel like it makes the videos more nostalgic. So it's honestly more for vlogging than for like filming regular videos. But it does have a good feature, which is that you can open the screen and like turn it around. So if you're filming yourself, you still see yourself. Because on my phone that I'm using to film, I use the back camera because it's better quality. But then I can't see myself, so I always have to like set it up properly. And sometimes I'm not in the like literal middle, but that's okay. One last feature that I would love to give a shout out to is that the video camera actually can take pictures as well. It even has a flash that just like pops up, and then it takes maybe like 3 seconds to take one photo, but it's just amazing. I used it a little bit when my small digital one went on hiatus, and when I was filming like at a party, I took a couple of pictures as well, and they have like a different format, surprisingly, but they're still not as great as the ones from the digital camera, but they're still amazing. So I was like, okay, at least I have that right now. But it's not very practical because to take out such a big camera to just like take the pictures, also it takes, like I said, longer to take it. But on the other hand, you have two features at once if you need it, so maybe it's not as bad. Now, if I were to recommend you only one of these cameras, I don't even know why I'm trying to make that decision because it's a tough one. But I think if you just want like one kind of camera to take pictures with, I would recommend the small, like some sort of small digital one, because I think it obviously depends on the model. But for example, the one I have, it's, what's the word? I can't remember. Like flexible maybe, because it can deal with many different environments, like I said, at night because it has a flash. Then during the day it still looks good, it has great quality, it has a nice, we can say, aesthetic. And even the zoom, like if I zoom in, the quality is still great, like it's still the same, if not better, honestly. Next, I would still recommend owning one analog camera because, like I said, I feel like it has a special personality. You have to wait for those pictures, so you don't know immediately how they turn out. What I also like to do sometimes is to put it in the hands of someone and let them take a couple of pictures, because then it's even like more of a surprise. But be careful because I remember we were at this pub like in Belgium when I was on Erasmus, and I wanted this guy to take a picture of all of us, and he was taking a selfie, and he took like 3 or 4 photos at once. I'm gonna, if I find them, I'm gonna put them here. You can even see on my face that I was like a little bit shocked because I was like, dude, stop, it's an analog, like it's not digital. And then there was like this friend next to me and we were talking and I told her and she was like, what? Yeah, it was a funny situation. So it might be a dangerous thing to do, but it's also fun. So that was my collection, all my cameras and a video camera. I hope you got maybe inspired if you want to have a camera to take pictures of friends or on your vacation. I forgot to mention that I'm not a professional under any circumstance. I just love to do it as my hobby. I'm also obsessed with like printing pictures. Now I bought 2 more photo albums, which makes it a collection of 7, and I'm only 22, so I can't imagine what I'm gonna do when I'm, for example, 30 or when I have kids, because my whole house will be filled with photo albums. Then I have a bunch of photo books that I print usually if it's like a longer or bigger trip, because otherwise it would like fill my whole photo album and more, and I just wanted to like separate it. And you can fit a lot more pictures in a photo book, and it's like concise, it can have a theme and everything. And then I also have 2 photo albums of Polaroid pictures, so I have a lot. It's my passion, if in case you haven't noticed that. And you can write in the comments if you have a camera, which one do you have, or what's your favorite, or if you want to buy a camera, which one you're aiming for, or if you have any questions about the ones I show you, you can ask, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!